Hello everyone, my name is SiC and welcome back to my playthrough of 80 Days. This is the second episode, it is day 4 and we have decided to go from Amsterdam to Christiania. So let's go there right away. We can go there on board the Louise of Sweden, which is a boat. The Fjordur departs for Christiania tomorrow at 12 noon. Interesting, okay, so we can take free luggage, it will take our health down to -11. I expect this departure could be altered. Interesting, let's negotiate. The Englishman's wardrobe should yield results. Most generous, no charge at noon. The ticket will require a further $34. What? Yeah, so 34 pounds, or not dollars, but pounds. 34 pounds. No charge at 12 noon. Interesting. Alright, no idea what's going on there. We did get some apples. Of interest to official, earnest and soldier types. Ah, interesting. So maybe we could give this to someone else and use it again. I thought I was going to eat it or something like that, but apparently not. Alright, so we have to stay in Amsterdam for a night. We can go explore, after all. I took a few hours to explore, investigating the various options for how we might continue our journey. Okay. Nothing else to do then? Let's go to the market. European carriages list. A slender volume list, contact details for European carriage drivers. And a lost Rembrandt. Worth 70, yeah, we're not going to Munich. Otherwise this could have been very good, man. Look at that, 130 pounds to buy it. And I sell it for 7,200 pounds in Munich. You know what? We still have some time, let's plan. Munich is over here. We would arrive Monday, ah yeah. And then Vienna. Not sure how or when we could get there. But yeah, okay, that's not going to happen, I don't think. Let's open, no. Oh, we can't go to the market anymore because it just closed, really. God damn it. Alright, let's go to the hotel for a night. We'll pass the night here. It's 6:30 AM. With what remained of the day, I did some minor alterations to our clothing. I spent a few hours polishing shoes in the lobby. I engaged another guest in conversation. I could make some money by polishing shoes. I did some minor alterations to our clothing. I'm not sure what that's going to end up doing for us. Or I engaged another guest in conversation. We're still pretty good on money, so I'm going to engage the other guest in conversation. To learn what I could, hearing from him that some buyers will pay well for woolen cloaks from Munich. A most interesting snippet. Yeah, we're not going to Munich, man. Alright, open 7 AM, the market. We need to depart at 12, so... You know, we might wait for the market to open. Time goes by pretty quickly in this game, so... There we go. The new market. New market is what that means. We could go for the European carriages list because we have space for it, and we might always buy, or yeah, it's only one pound, and it will give us a lot of extra routes, I think. Nice to Venice, Venice to Vienna, Budapest, and Rome. All right, then Munich to Berlin and Venice, and Warsaw to Budapest. Sofia to Bucharest, Thessaloniki, Meteora Valley, Athens, wow. Istanbul to Antalya, Cairo to the Suez, Marrakesh to Tangier. This isn't in Europe. What the hell? But I'm not complaining. Alright, let's depart. Let's go to Christiania. Embark. Maltese. This looks like a bothersome option, but a traveling cloak from a gentleman traveler set should see us to rights. Awesome. So it's -11, but +10 from the traveler's cloak. That is awesome. So it's only -1 health for Monsieur Fogg here. Fjordur. Our route north was to be by hydrofoil, a modern contraption invented, so I had heard, by a mad Italian contessa by the name of Orsini. I confess I boarded with some trepidation. No, I bounded aboard, keen to try the thing out for myself. Monsieur Fogg waved to the pilot to start the engine. The ship roared into life and then rose up 2 feet into the air above the surface of the waves. Interesting. Your character is now zestful. Not sure what that means, but let's converse. Greetings, Monsieur Cruz. We can talk if you must, but I am piloting. Begin conversation. Yeah, let's talk about Christiania. I have nothing to say. Alright, then we have Copenhagen. Yeah, Christianity to Copenhagen or to Stockholm. Copenhagen is down in Denmark, so that's not an option for us. We don't want to go back down. Let's talk about Stockholm. Inside you can get to Stockholm from, or to Stockholm from Christianity aboard the Louisa, Sweden. Ropes and tackles, that's what I know. Okay, then Stockholm to Berlin, now Stockholm to Warsaw. Stockholm to St. Petersburg, yeah. We're probably going through Russia. We have a timetable for routes to from Stockholm to St. Petersburg. Well, the quickest way to St. Petersburg from here is through Stockholm. Alright, that's good to know. St. Petersburg to Moscow. I'll say only this. The most efficient way to Moscow from there is to go via Helsinki. Interesting. Can we talk about Helsinki? Alright, let's talk about Moscow. The Tsar has formed his own secret police, I hear. Now, anyway, if I could, I would live out here on the water. How nice. What a delightful way to live. The freedom, Passepartout, the endless water. Alright, so maybe let's talk about St. Petersburg a little bit. You might be interested that some buyers will pay well for woolen cloaks from St. Petersburg. Okay. Can we talk about St. Petersburg to Minsk? I believe so. You can get to Minsk from St. Petersburg aboard the St. Petersburg Express, but the journey is a tiring one. Alright, let's talk about Minsk, I suppose. Excuse me, I must go now. Alright, fine. Let's say goodbye. St. Petersburg to Minsk. Ah, Minsk is down there. That's not useful to us. I don't think, anyway. The ride was rather thrilling, rather like the carousel at a fairground. We bumped and ricocheted along across the waves. I shouted for joy. I asked the pilot for his opinion on the craft. Now I shouted for joy, of course, and I think my master was pleased for me, though he expressed no such sentiment for himself. Remarkably, we were to spend the night on the very edge of the North Sea. The engine was switched off and a domed canopy extended from the sides of the ship and closed overhead. I was fearful of the cold, or in the last moments before it sealed, I saw a flicker of color in the sky. The aurora? I do not know. I would love to see the aurora borealis. It's one of the things I most want to see in this world, actually. Maybe someday. We sat in close quarters and talked in hushed tones in this strange little bubble, floating on the froth of the world. Man, I love the imagery of this game. There he goes, down by 1 health. The next day was much shorter, and we cruised into the harbor at Christiania. You'll find the place empty, our pilot remarked. I warn you. Why is that? Empty, we will not be staying. Let's ask why it is, actually, because that could be important for us. He shrugged. Last time I saw it, it was empty. That's all I know. Was that recently? We disembarked onto the shore, and the man turned about and was lost from sight. An empty city, after all, offers no passengers. Right. Right. There seem to be no departures today. We should explore a little. Yep, most definitely. Let's explore. New routes discovered. Christiania. Wow, we can go all the way up to... I didn't quite catch that name. The streets of Christiania were completely deserted. We did not see anyone anywhere. I was convinced we had arrived during a festival, quite puzzled, or put in mind what happened to Belgrade. What happened in Belgrade? Let's talk about that. That would be interesting to know. Surely the Austro-Hungarian Empire was not also moving north. Who would be mad enough to engage a war in 2 directions at once? Ah well, except for Napoleon. Of course. But then look how that fiasco had turned out. This is an eerie place, Monsieur Fogg remarked, in an uncharacteristic display of emotion. Certainly, the silent streets had a certain menace to them. Perhaps we should be moving on. We must find a municipal center. The government... Yeah, we still have time, so let's go find a municipal center, because we can't move on until tomorrow anyway, and we still have time to kill today. The government, I replied. A city cannot be left totally abandoned. A little more walking and we came to the Parliament building, and beside it a set of freshly built steps leading down into the ground. The passage was lit by gas lamps. I paused at the entrance. Shall we go below? Or I listened by the entrance. Interesting, because I remember that in Amsterdam we talked to this guy on the street, and he talked about how people in Norway went underground. I don't know why they're going underground, but we can find out. I listened by the entrance, or shall we go below? Yeah, let's go below, I murmured to my master. But he was already striding on ahead and down the steps. Really, I hurried after him. We went below, and sure enough there were lights, and then shops, and then people, and carriages, and restaurants, and indeed an entire city built beneath the surface. I demanded to know the meaning of this construction. Why these people have moved their entire city downwards I did not care. Of course I care. How can you not care about an entire city moving underground? That might be important for us. Maybe the city is going to get bombarded, or it's already being bombarded regularly. You don't know. I demanded to know the meaning of this construction, and we eventually found a man called Arne Garborg, a poet, visiting from the countryside. There is a war coming, he explained. We are sure of it. So you have abandoned your city, so this is a defense? How can you be certain? I demanded. Things are faster now. Every country is expanding. Their borders will soon touch. When the fighting begins, there will be airships carrying bombs in the skies. It will be better below. I was astonished by his unflappable calm. What of the sun? But how will you farm? How will you farm? That is very interesting. I demanded. Grow crops. Feed yourselves. Phosphorescent seaweed, he replied, with great pride in his voice. We Norwegians have a solution for everything, you will see. We found somewhere to eat, or I spent a little while browsing markets, yeah. Of which there were plenty here below, though I found little of interest except a chess set with pieces made of finely carved walrus ivory. Yours for £100, the vendor declared. It is highly valuable. I smiled but turned it down. £100 for a chest. We have money to spare, and it would be nice to play a game maybe, or maybe we could sell it somewhere else for a lot of money. It seems like a lot now, but I love chess, and I want to have a chess game with me. And actually, when I travel, I have a travel set for a chess game. It's very small, it fits into my backpack quite neatly, and it's always nice to end up in a hostel and play a game with somebody you don't know, and you get to a conversation, you know, and yeah, I love having a chess set around, so I'm gonna pay her. And packed the set carefully away into a case. It was a fine souvenir, but looked also like it might be worth something in trade. Your funds have gone down by a fair amount. Your relationship with Fogg has deteriorated slightly. Interesting. The Norwegian chess set should fetch a good price in Rome if you don't find a use for it. We're not going to Rome, man. Come on. Alright, let's plan a little bit. So, Tromsø arrives tomorrow for £960. Holy hell. That is so expensive. 110 arrives tomorrow as well. And we know that we have some roads going over here. Arrives on Wednesday. Today is Sunday, so it will arrive on Monday. Then it's going to arrive on Wednesday. We can go right across to St. Petersburg from Helsinki, I hope. So, yeah, we're going to Stockholm tomorrow. Or actually, let's... when I go into planning mode, Christiania, oh, you can see you have the things people talk about. So Norwegians are moving underground. Street peddler from Amsterdam. You can get to Stockholm, right. Aboard Louise of Sweden. Alright, cool. Let's go to the hotel. We'll pass the night. We're already day 7. And I'm already feeling the rush. Below ground, life was bustling. We found a hotel carved into the wall of an underground bluff that stretched down for hundreds of meters well out of sight. I tossed a shilling into the darkness. I asked a passerby what was down there. I tried not to look into the abyss. Stretched down for hundreds of meters well out of sight. Interesting. Let's talk about what's down there instead of throwing away our money. And they smiled with that Nordic slyness I was learning to recognize. A dragon was the reply. Really? A dragon? Entering the hotel, we found it was warm and well staffed. Monsieur Fogg, implacable as ever, was quite comfortable, but I still had the worrying sense that there might indeed be a dragon in the hole. No way. This cave we were in might be sealed up, or a similar hole might open up underneath us. Do I have to be worried? So let's talk about being sealed up, yeah. And we would never escape. Over dinner, we were joined by a German named Otto Liedenbrock, who asked us our purpose in visiting the city. We are on our way to Russia, I replied. He shrugged without much interest. Russia is merely another country, and it is stuffed full of Russians to boot, he observed. I have a more interesting project myself. I am going, and he pointed a finger downwards towards the dragon. Australia? Into the abyss. Otto nodded. If I can discover the way in, yes, he replied, but I fear I have not yet found it. Tomorrow we will see. I begin my expedition downwards, towards the very center of the earth. Perhaps you should try Iceland? I thought him quite lacking in sense. I thought it sounded a grand adventure. Yep, grand adventure indeed. But I was, of course, quite occupied with my own. Maybe I should have talked about our travel around the world. You can manage another case, can't you? Passepartout? Really? Nope. Let's depart. Let's go to Stockholm. Embark. The luggage rack has space for 3 out of 3 suitcases, which will suffice, and it's departing in 55 minutes. Yep. Bearable experience, so that's good. We're going by air. Interesting. The Louise of Sweden was a beautifully presented airship, and she flew like a dream. Let's converse. Greetings, Madame Berg. Good day, young man. Alright, Stockholm to Warsaw. Nah, Stockholm to St. Petersburg. Yep, that's where we're going. It's timetabled. I know that there is a irregular train service from St. Petersburg to Moscow, but the journey is a tiring one. St. Petersburg to Prague. Ekaterinburg. Yeah, we want to know more about Ekaterinburg for sure. Can you travel from St. Petersburg to Ekaterinburg? That seems quite impossible to me, but answer me this. Did you find what you wanted in Oslo? We never went to Oslo. Right, I did not. Me neither. I went to visit my sister, but she was nowhere to be seen. Let's talk about Stockholm. Stockholm seems to be weathering the changing world economy. Alright. What else is there to talk about? Stockholm to Minsk? No. Stockholm to Berlin? No. Stockholm to Warsaw? Not really. Copenhagen? Also not interesting. Helsinki. Stockholm, Helsinki. Speaking of boats, I understand you can get to Dubai from Bandar Abbas aboard the Persian Gulf ferry. Let's talk about Dubai then. Did you know that you can pick up demijohns of olive oil in Dubai that will sell for a fortune in Bandar Abbas? Let's talk about Bandar Abbas. Well, the fastest way to Bandar Abbas from here is through Tsaritsyn. That's in Russia, right? So, yeah, who knows? We'll see what's going to happen. St. Petersburg to Moscow. Oh, that's good. We have a route now. Bandar Abbas to Dubai. Alright. The route was uneventful and there was little to mark the day. I spent my time playing chess. Most definitely playing chess with a charming Viennese errand boy who proved to be a fearsome humorist. I won a small sum, or I found the game most stimulating. I won a small sum, £90, along with my opponent's book of English poems. We arrived into Stockholm before dark. Your funds have gone up a little. Yep, that's good. It's only £90, but that pays for our journey, mostly. The Norwegian chess set should be quite valuable here. Interesting. Let's go to the markets, which closes at 7 PM, I think. It sells for 240. 7,800 in Rome. Holy shit. Too bad we're not going to Russia. Right, there's a fur coat. Part of the Russian gentleman wardrobe set. We could most definitely use that. £94. We could sell the traveling cloak in that case. Which does need another one. Gentleman traveler set. Yeah, we're going through Russia. So let's take the traveling cloak. Let's sell that one. Let's buy the fur coat. Elastic warrior. Wallet. Not warrior. An unstealable wallet attached to the inside of the pocket by elastic. Part of the urban traveler set. The salve of arnica. Part of the rest and recuperation set. A healing salve for tired points. It's only £5, so yeah, let's take a healing set. Drinking horn. We're 3,800 in Antalya. A Viking. We're not going to Antalya, that's too far away. Elastic wallet. An unstealable wallet attached to the inside of the pocket by elastic. That could be very useful. Only good for 30 days, but let's take it. And then let's close the luggage here. And let's plan a little bit. Alright, so Warsaw arrives tomorrow. Helsinki arrives Wednesday. It's Wednesday, or yeah, that's the day after tomorrow. Warsaw arrives tomorrow. And it departs tomorrow as well. But I don't know if we can get there. We could go here on Friday. Wow, okay, that's Monday to Friday. That's terrible. So we're definitely not going to do that. We're going to Helsinki. And we'll be arriving on Wednesday. Right, let's go to the hotel. And pass the night. We found our hotel to be very well appointed and were glad of it, because the streets outside became fearfully cold as night fell. It is a wonder people can live in such a chilly place. There is something beautiful to this bleak city. Yeah. From the way he turned his head, it was clear that Monsieur Fogg found my remark distasteful, but he made no particular rejoinder. I think we're going to have pretty bad relationship with Mr. Fogg. Alright, it's day 8 and we're going to depart. Arrives today, departs at 10. It's, yeah, we're not going to explore for 4 hours, so let's embark to Warsaw. The hold has space for 3 suitcases, which will suffice fine. Mild seas and cold weather. This looks like a wearisome experience, but the fur coat from a Russian gentleman's wardrobe set should be of some assistance. So it only goes down by 1 health point. That's really good. I'm glad I bought it. And since we're going to go traveling much further along the north here, I'm glad I have it for the future as well. We left Stockholm promptly and without fuss. Let's converse a little bit more again. Greetings, monsieur. Warsaw to Budapest? Sure. Timetabled? Yes, well, merchants in Moscow will pay fantastic amounts for absinthe from Budapest. Really? Let's talk about Moscow. The Tsar has formed his own secret police, I hear. Not for me, I think. That's not really useful to us. Moscow to Ekaterinburg, Moscow to Omsk, Irkutsk, Karamskaya, Ussyrisk, Vladivostok. Yeah, we need to have some more routes open to us. You mentioned trains. I've been told my childhood sweetheart was stranded in Karamskaya just before the Trans-Manchurian Express to Pyongyang went missing. Pyongyang. That would be really cool to go to. Vladivostok to Honolulu? Really? Vladivostok to... Let's talk about Pyongyang. The Chinese and Japanese vie for influence over Korea. Okay. Interesting. Karamskaya. It splits off to Beijing and Pyongyang. Okay. What? No, God damn it, I made a mistake. I wanted to go up north. I clicked the wrong thing. The ferry left Stockholm and its mighty buildings behind and took off into the quiet water. I passed the time on deck, eavesdropping, watching scenery go by. Eavesdropping. Hoping to find options for our next journey. I fell in with a remarkably energetic Turkish madame and had a pleasant if unproductive conversation, whom I quickly abandoned as knowing nothing. A pleasant but unproductive conversation that whiled the hours away. But by nightfall we reached the coastline at Gdansk and transferred to a little carriage that trundled us the last few miles into Warsaw. Man, I made a mistake. I wanted to go north. I didn't want to go to Warsaw. Some of our possessions could earn us well here. Alright. Let's plan. Budapest arrives tomorrow. Minsk. Man, I made a mistake. Can we go back to Stockholm or to Helsinki from here? Or to St. Petersburg even? Oh, God. I'm too busy thinking about stuff and making mistakes now. This is annoying me. We walked the streets of Warsaw, feeling the air of a different continent all around. In less than 2 generations, the Tsars had made this little outpost all their own. But there were the signs of dissent on every corner. They have made it much nicer too. Let's talk about the dissent on every corner. For in every building project in the city, there were glued pamphlets declaring the Russians to be dogs, fiends and Philistines. We walked further, however, and saw no disturbances. It seems all the revolutionary types have been placated by prosperity, rounded up and shot. Yeah, rounded up and shot, I suppose. In fact, our hostelier told us later that the pamphlets themselves are produced by machines buried by the rebels during the Troubles. No one has yet found them to switch them off. Interesting. Let's explore. So there is a road to Minsk and Moscow. Going out in the day, I encountered an incredible creature, as tall as a house, with wide, swinging metal arms, like a rampaging giant. Really? I stared. gawping as the terrible machine stomped from foot to foot, slowly rotating. And then I saw that in its chest was a man, using levers, I think, and switches to operate the colossal device. It was a gigantic walking exoskeleton. I waved to him, I watched him work. He operated a small lever in each hand, which seemed to articulate the metal creature's arms. It was all entirely mechanical, but amplified his own movements, and so looked organic. He smashed a nearby wall and I jumped clear. I waved to him, and he looked down and tipped his cloth cap. How does it work? There are 2 levers for each hand, and they work on ball sockets. I'd let you try, sir, but I must get on with my work. What is this thing? I continued. It's a kudunki, he said, from Novorossiysk. Novorossiysk? They slipped a few in to help us with the building work. He pulled the lever and the machine drew back a massive arm. From Novorossiysk, you say? It's a small town on the far side of the Black Sea, he replied. I don't know why they have a surplus of these things there. The drawn back arm smashed into a wall and the building fell into a cloud of dust. I jumped back. Excuse me, my friend called, but I must get back to work. What an incredible sight. I can imagine so, yeah. Let's go to the market. Let's see what we can buy there. Part of the engineer set, a monkey wrench or an accordion. Valuable in Athens, Helsinki and Minsk. Interesting. Let's have a look. Let's depart. We can go to Minsk. 200 arrives today. Okay, yep. That is good. So let's go to the market. Let's buy the accordion. Let's move this over there and let's buy the accordion for 86 and then we can sell it in Minsk. I trouble you not to play the Demian accordion in my presence again. Alright. Let's depart towards Minsk. The luggage has higher access space for £11, most definitely. Cold weather, this looks like a bothersome option, but the fur coat from Russian gentleman's wardrobe set should set us to rights. -5 but +9, so that is actually really good. The Belarus Express. It's an interesting looking train. It looks like it has a cannon on the top there. We clambered aboard the train. Monsieur Fogg settled in a far corner like a dusty old uncle. Really? And I went to sit next to him, or I pressed my nose against the glass. I'm going to sit next to him for now. Ready to attend to his wishes. He had none, of course, but to be left alone with his thoughts, whatever they were. So we rode in silence. Man, he is an annoying figure to be around. Greetings, Monsieur Krasotkin. Good evening, man of France. Let's talk about Minsk to Moscow. You mentioned trains. I've been told Omsk is connected to Ussurisk by rail, but the fare is about £1,500. Holy hell. That is insane. So I don't think we want to go to Omsk. But maybe we can go from Moscow to Irkutsk. On the subject of trains, I've heard Kabul can be reached from Tehran aboard the Kamertaj. Okay. Use the English poetry. Are you a fan of poetry, Monsieur Krasotkin? And then we can talk about more stuff, I suppose. Let's talk about Irkutsk. The rumor is one can travel by the Mongol horse caravan from Irkutsk to Urga. Let's talk about Urga then. They say some buyers will pay well for fur coats from Urga. Okay. Urga to Beijing, Yokohama in Japan. That could be interesting. You can buy amethyst in Yokohama. You can sell for profit in Hong Kong. Okay. Goodbye. Istanbul. That's really far. But it's way down to the south. Irkutsk to Urga. Okay. We might go there. The Belarus Express. We arrived at Minsk after nightfall and disembarked. Belarus Express. Some of our possessions should be quite valuable here, but the market opens at 7 AM. So let's go to the hotel. Or let's plan first, actually. Moscow will arrive on Sunday. It's Wednesday now. That's quite bad. Just under a week. Holy shit. Yeah, Minsk to Moscow. That's really bad. Arrive Sunday. Man. Alright. Let's go to the hotel. We'll pass the night and then go to the market in the morning. A very cold newspaper man offered me a sip of Turkish coffee at a tram stop in Minsk. My grandfather was French, he said blandly. Then we are compatriots. I toasted him with my ceramic tumbler. I do not think so. He spat onto the ground vehemently. I did not know him. He was one of Napoleon's soldiers. Minsk was occupied by the Grand Army during the invasion. Ah, I can see what happened there then. He did not speak in a particularly accusative tone, but any words I tried to say in reply coagulated at the back of my throat. Ah, I managed to choke out. I am sorry. An unfortunate business. Yeah, it's not my fault that happened, so it's an unfortunate business. Yes, war is an unfortunate business, and yet, he sighed, I am here. So there's that. Very practical. He gestured with his cup. You are traveling. We will cross Russia to Japan. I'd like to go to Japan. He gave me a downturned smile. Vladivostok is closed, he said. You'll have more luck going through China, unless you're military. We aren't. Our tram wheezed into the stop, and the conductor opened the doors. The newspaperman boarded. Enjoy your coffee, he added, without looking in my direction. I decided to wait for the next tram, or I boarded with him. Yeah, I'll board with him. And he cracked a rare smile. If I were traveling, I know where I would choose to go. And where is that? I do not choose a destination. I do choose my destination, damn it. And where is that? Tehran, he replied to my surprise. A beautiful place, I'm sure, or an unusual choice. He laughed bitterly and tapped the newspaper under his arm. When I was younger, I knew a woman called Lina Balkala, a Finnish girl. She became a dancer, and now she passes herself off as Slavic and has just been signed up to dance exclusively in Tehran. I am sure I will never see her again, but if I could, I would try. Then go, I can advise you on routes. I nodded sympathetically. There are other women. No, I will advise him on the routes, goddammit. Can't stand in the way of love, and if I can help him out, so much is the better. I would never find her. Lina Palkala is gone. Her name is now Marina Poltavka. Right? What can we do? Arrives on Sunday. So we have time to explore Minsk then, because it's still Thursday. Holy hell, that's a lot of wasted time. New routes have been discovered. That's good. Odessa. I spent a few hours in exploration, learning ways in which we might travel onwards. Alright, okay, so let's plan. When does this leave? It departs tomorrow. It arrives on Saturday. Then we could go to Novorossiysk, Istanbul, Mount Belarus, Tehran. Actually, if we could go down to Tehran, we might find this woman. Or we could spend the extra day, go to Moscow, and then take the train all the way across here. Because that seems like the most straightforward way, and we could make up a lot of time. This could make a lot of sense. A lot of trains, people traveling by train, by the looks of it. So yeah, I will be waiting in Minsk. Let's, we don't need to go to the bank, but let's have a look at the market. Railway cap. Part of the railway man set. The sword worn. Oh, we can sell the accordion. Valuable here and in Istanbul, Omsk and Ekaterinburg. Let's sell this thing for £990. Wow, that's really good. Most definitely selling that. We're going to save this shortbread biscuit. Of interest to luxurious, posh and prim types. Safety harness, part of the heavy storm set. Okay, yeah. Let's take that in case any storm happens. And we're going to be on the rails. So maybe a railway cap for £12. We made a lot of money, so we can afford it. Let's close the luggage, and let's go to the hotel for the day. Maybe I can make some money working around. As night fell, I washed and hung our linen. I engaged another guest in conversation. Yeah, engaged a guest in conversation to learn what I could, but came away with nothing but advice for doing laundry. Relations with Fogg have improved slightly. Interesting. Is there a way we can see our relationships with him? Because this is -100, it doesn't say anything else. Interesting. So let's say, can we depart now? Arrives tomorrow? Departs at 12 noon. Yeah. 250 to Odessa. Moscow. Arrives Sunday. Departs tomorrow. I'm quite sure this departure could be altered. Okay, let's negotiate. The fur coat from our Russian gentleman's wardrobe set should spur them on. Looks like we can grease the wheels. At 10 PM. The ticket will require a further 220. And then we can leave at 10 AM. Or 10 PM tonight instead of tomorrow. Otherwise it will depart tomorrow at noon, I suppose. That's a lot of money though. That would be 430 to leave at 10 PM. It could save us hours. Maybe not even days. So And then we will be there at night. We can't explore or do anything. Yeah. Minus 16 too. We only have room for two things. Rise on Sunday. Same as here, St. Petersburg. But then we have to go down to Moscow anyway, so... let's have a look at Minsk. Can we do anything else? Market, bank opens at 11 AM. Hotel for one more day. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the hotel because we need to save our money, right? So I'm not going to spend $400 or 400 pounds. Before retiring, I washed and hung our linen. I engaged another guest in conversation. No, let's do our linen for now, to ensure everything was shipshape for our upcoming departure. Relations with Fog has strengthened slightly. That's good. Right, let's depart. Moscow arrives tomorrow. Departs at 10 PM. Wow. Okay, so we could have shaved off a day, I suppose. But let's embark. Higher access space for 11 pounds. Yep. Cold weather is completely negated by our extra clothes, which is good. The train pulled out from Minsk station well after nightfall. Monsieur Fogg had taken to tapping his watch every time we began a new journey, as though he was recording the time of departure through some fantastical spring-operated signal. Perhaps he was sending a message. Most likely a nervous habit. Yeah, I think that's what it is. A man of Monsieur Fogg's composure and steady complexion must surely hide some vagaries in his mental closet. Most definitely. There was little time to do anything before total darkness enveloped the train. Okay, let's converse. Greetings, mademoiselle. Moscow to Karamskaya. I've heard that the quickest way to Karamskaya from here is through Ekaterinburg. Okay, let's talk about Ekaterinburg. My mother had a wonderful time aboard the freight train from Ekaterinburg to Astrakhan. Okay, what is in Astrakhan? The mud, they say, has healing properties. Interesting. Let's take our goodbye. Ekaterinburg. Wow, okay, that goes... Yeah, that's not going to happen. Alright, it is now Sunday on day 13. Morning came, and we were still crossing the Russian countryside, the train moving on its slow and steady way. I spent the time talking to other passengers, hoping to find options for our next leg. I met a charming Muscovite artist, and had a pleasant if unproductive conversation. Yep. That whiled the hours away. Finally, we pulled into the stone edifice that was Moscow station and disembarked. Your character is now courageous. You're quite a flamboyant type, I see. Really. Right, I think we can complete our physical restorative set here for protection against strenuous conditions. Really, let's go to the markets. Cold compress. Part of the rest in recuperation set. Cold compress. Oh yeah. For £4, we'll take it. A top hat, part of the gentleman traveler set. I'm not going to buy that. A false passport. A forged Englishman's passport in the name of Jack Passenger. Really. Part of the left of the law set. Okay. This could be interesting. Let's buy it. We have space for it, so... And it's only $32. Or pounds. Every time with the dollars, man. Alright, let's plan our journey. Arrives next Tuesday. That would be really good, but it takes 1600. Wow. Arrives next Friday. 14 days. 15 days. Vladivostok is closed, I think. So we need to go to Pyongyang. Maybe. And then from there we can go to Yokohama. And then probably you have to go down into towards Asia. Across Australia. Oh man, this is going to be interesting, to say the least. Alright, so let's zoom in a little bit. We can go to Ekaterinburg for £800. Arrives on Friday. Departs in 3 days? Really? Okay. Let's go to the hotel. We'll pass the night. Moscow was not a comfortable city for a Frenchman. A local composer had just written a piece people were calling the 1812 Overture, commemorating the Russian victory over Napoleon's invading Grande Armée in that fateful year. Patriotic passions were at a fever pitch, but I did not let that stop me. Or so I stayed very sensibly indoors. No, I'm not going to let that stop me from exploring the city, though I resolve to affect an English accent. That's not going to work for a Frenchman. Remain mute and unobjectionable should I encounter anyone. I paid for a coach, or I trust. Yeah, I'm not going to pay because then I have to talk. I traverse the city on foot, keeping out of sight of the patrols of uniformed policemen and Cossack troops mounted on black mechanical steeds. I ventured away from the wide boulevards and the eclectic architecture of Tverskaya Street towards the Kremlin, or the outer. No, I'm going towards the Kremlin, of course. Spasskaya Tower, topped by the two-headed imperial eagle, loomed over the square, but my eye was drawn to the improbable onion domes, or a woman handing out pamphlets. Yeah, woman handing out pamphlets by a public water fountain. She was carefully avoiding the Cossack patrols and keeping away from the more finely dressed ladies and gentlemen in the square. I waved at her genially, or I took a pamphlet. I'll take a pamphlet from her, intending to question her of its contents, but she hurried away with some alacrity. The pamphlet itself was printed on very cheap paper and had a crude picture of a rather morose-looking farmer drawn in the middle of the Cyrillic text. As the bells of the nearby church chimed the hour, I returned to our hotel, content with my brief view of the Tsar's capital city. Interesting, let's explore. Another route has opened up. That's good. Where is it going? Tsaritsyn, Astrakhan. Okay. I walked the streets a while, discovering the possibilities for how we might make progress. Alright, I'm going to look at our plan, but then I'm going to call it an end, I think. Because we've been going for quite a while. Arrives tomorrow, departs tomorrow. Arrives on Wednesday, so that's the day after tomorrow. Then this arrives on Friday, or we could go from here to somewhere else. Herakat. I think, because there's a lot of ocean here, we could maybe go to Honolulu from one of these places. That would take us a long, long way. And then we could go to the United States or South America. And then from there we could go back to... yeah, you know what? Let's see. Vladivostok. It's close to non-military personnel, so that's not going to be useful to us. Pyongyang. Chinese and Japanese vie for influence. Beijing, no information about that. Yokohama, you can buy amethyst, you can sell for profit in Hong Kong. See, Kamskaya through Ekaterinburg, 2300, holy hell. This could be altered, the fur code should spur them on. Ticket will require a fur, wow, yeah, no way. Can't even afford that. Irkutsk, yeah, Urga, what do we know about that? There was a place where we could go... what's this? This could be altered. Little encouragement is required, tomorrow. This ticket will require a further £800. Yeah, no. I don't think so. Right? We do need to make time though, it's already day 14. Astrakhan, the freight train. Dermatocea healing properties. Tsaritsyn, there's no information about Tsaritsyn, but I thought there was a place that could take us to Honolulu. I'm not sure what it is though anymore. So maybe it was Vladivostok, but we're not military men, so 3700, we're not going to make that. This is 85, and it arrives tomorrow, then Wednesday, then Friday. Tehran. We could go to Tehran instead of going along this way, but I don't know. We'll see in the next episode. I'm going to leave you guys here, and hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more, of course, and I will see you for the next episode.